Ain't no civilization out there until Aizen showed up.
Until Aizen
And gentrified Hueco Mundo.
He did.
That's what that man did.
Dude, he did.
Bro, Aizen showed up and gentrified Hueco Mundo straight up. That's what it is. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Volume 1, the anime and manga podcast where we highlight and discuss new series each week. But today we're back again with more Bleach, which means another Dunkai episode. Which also means that today my name is Josh. I didn't think of one before we started recording, but I'm gonna go with Nino Michaels. And today I am joined by
Mehgan Reverse Nino Perrine.
Okay, like a reverse cowgirl or like a reverse?
No, reverse, like I was a child now. I'm actually not though. I'm a full-grown woman.
Nino.
Yeah, you meow.
Real.
Damn.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Volume 1 of our Dunkai series. Today is a behemoth of an episode. Today we're covering, kind of according to the Bleach manga arc wiki, 2 arcs. The Arrancar, the Fierce Fight Arc, and Arrancar versus Shinigami Arc. This is going to be chapters 252 through 315, a total of 63 chapters.
Big boy episode.
It's a big boy episode. Couple reasons why we wanted to combine them, mostly so that we'd have more to talk about. And this feels like more of... My chair's a little squeaky right now, and it's not because...
You need the WD-40.
I need the WD-40. You guys can't hear it, but it's squeaking, dude. It's like, the chair's like, help me.
It's like you're sitting on a mouse.
Help me.
You're sitting on...
But because this also feels like, this feels like the meat of Hueco Mundo, right? So we wanted to get through this because this is where I think a lot of similar beats and a lot of important moments happen. It would have felt, I think, a little weird to break it up and spend even more time talking about each individual.
And plus, we got a comment recently. We explained it before, but we got a comment recently saying that if we should just jump right into the 1,000-Year Blood War arc when it comes out in the anime and like not read it. Which I thought was interesting, but by the time we're kind of like going to catch up, we're probably not going to have time to read it. Yeah. We are just going to watch it. But I'm interested because someone else said that it's Tekking's least favorite.
The 1,000-Year Blood War arc?
I don't know if that's true. I don't know what Mare. We gotta
have to take that up.
We have some words to speak with him.
Yeah, gonna have to have some words.
Yeah.
I want to talk about a lot of things before we start going through beat by beat. This arc, I think, is compared all the time to Soul Society. In the Bleach fandom, people who consider themselves to be fans or maybe fans that were fans, but at one point during the Bout arc dropped off, a lot of people call this an exact copy-paste replica of Soul Society. A lot of people say it's a worse version of Soul Society, and a lot of people say that it is the same as Soul Society, but it's super intentional.
And upon reread, I know you don't remember a lot of it. Do you remember you feeling that way when you were reading this the first time? Do you remember? Was it like clouded in? Because for me, like having that comparison, I think I did not like. I wouldn't say I didn't dislike Soul Society, but having this, it being the same type of thing, but with like these cooler. I can never pronounce it. God damn it!
Arrancar. You're gonna have to make a song
Arrancar.
About how Mehgan pronounces Arrancar.
Arrancar. Like that them being a little bit more, I don't know, drippy, I guess. I don't know. They're more interesting to me as characters, I think.
I think that there are some things that Soul Society did better than the Hueco Mundo arc. Mm-hmm. And I think that there are some things that Hueco Mundo does better than Soul Society. I completely understand and see the parallels between the two and understand why they exist. We're going to talk about all of those things and more before we start going through it beat by beat. But first, we have to get to our highlighted comment of the day, which is a comment that is also about a lot of these things that we're going to be talking about. So without further ado, our highlighted comment of the day comes to us from Broken Cannon, who says, so the feeling that this is similar to the Soul Society arc is intentional. Kubo wanted an inversion of the first arc in order to draw parallels and show character growth. Example is Orihime versus Rukia's kidnapping. Rukia is taken against her will after everyone tried to protect her, and Orihime chooses to go to find a way only she can help. There's a lot more examples than just that, and I hope you keep your eye out for more. This is I wanted to read that comment because I think this is how a lot of the Bleach fandom feels. I think that a lot of people get a little rubbed the wrong way when people just claim that Hueco is a copy-paste worse version of Soul Society. And even further, there are other people who take it a step farther and say that this is all that Bleach is. It's very, similar in its formula. But I think it's just because maybe they, again, stopped either before this arc or after this arc because it's only in this chunk of story that it seems to have these parallels. Again, they're intentional. One of the arguments I hear, and I'm kind of setting this up for everybody watching and listening, but also so I can hear your thoughts on it, Mehgan. One of the reasons why people say that this seems logical, that it's only natural that these would be so similar, is because Aizen is the guy pulling the strings in both situations. He's the guy pulling the strings in Soul Society, and he's the guy pulling the strings in Hueco. Hence why he would do things a similar way, right? On top of that, I think other people have issues with Ishida fighting Mayuri like he did in Soul Society, now fighting Grants, another scientist guy in Hueco. Chad seeming to get this power up and lose against a powerful captain in Soul Society here again in Hueco. Orihime obviously being Rukia. Nell feeling like a Nell 2, feeling like an Yoruchi type of character. And not that Grimjaw is like Kenpachi and Byakuya, but that he kind of represents and gives Ichigo that same, he kind of lights that same fire in Ichigo that they kind of lit.
Yeah, like you didn't come here to save Orihime, you came here to fight me. Yeah. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Like I said, I think there are things that Soul Society did better, and I think there's things that Hueco did better. But Mehgan, what do you think, experiencing this for the first time, like, before we started recording, it almost seemed like you might have enjoyed, outside of just the Arrancar being cooler, that you might have enjoyed the Hueco portion of this a little bit more than Soul Society. Is there a reason for that? Can you put your finger on, outside of the Arrancar just being a more interesting group of foes, I guess? Is there another reason that you can point to that?
I think it is just more interesting. I feel like with Soul Society, it was a lot of, I don't want to say like one and the same, but I feel like with the Arrancar, like, I can't really explain it very well. The fights are more entertaining. I found myself it feeling a little bit more fresh than like just learning about Soul Reapers again, or just seeing a group of Soul Reapers again. Like I feel like these are directly against Soul Reapers, much like if they were fighting against what are they called?
Soul Reaper, the Vizards, the Hollows, the Quincy's.
Quincy's, yeah. I just wanted to take a break from the Soul Reaper. I mean, they're still there. I mean, obviously they're going to still be there, but it was just like, we see all the captains again. We see them fight each other, and it was just like, it was a little bit fresher, I guess.
Yeah, I think the only... and I think the only other reason that for me... it's different is because, number one, in Soul Society, I think a big part of Soul Society was that the captains and the vice captains and all of the Shinigami in Soul Society, they were struggling with, I guess, like being who they wanted to be and acting the way they wanted to act. Like they felt like they had to always fall in order, fall in line, always had to follow these rules, follow this code. There wasn't much room for self in there. And they were, again, just kind of like following commands. Here in Hueco, we see that they have accepted a lot of who they are, come to terms with a lot of who they are, and are acting and making choices like on their own for themselves. And they're just coming into their own all a little bit more. So it's a lot nicer seeing like a Byakuya who's a little more open, and a Renji who's a little more open, when everybody in Soul Society at the time was just like real closed off.
Well, that's what I kind of feel too, just with the characters and the captains themselves. Like, yeah, they were super closed off, but they were just like cookie cutter. Like, they would like kind of break the rules a bit, but not too much. Like Renji didn't really do shit until the end. Like when he finally decided like, yeah, I need to break out Rukia. Like this isn't right. Whereas like I feel like the Arrancars are just like, yeah, we're following Aizen, but we can kind of do our own shit. Like we're thankful for him making us powerful, but we're kind of gonna do our own thing. And like I just feel like they're more ruthless.
Yeah.
And they're more fun to follow. Like, yeah.
And I don't know that, like, you know, Rukia might have been considered, for lack of a better term, a damsel in distress to an extent, right? She kind of gave herself up and kind of went to, she kind of did go to Soul Society. She got taken to Soul Society against her will. Yeah, sure. But she did also end up like going to make it easier for everybody else.
And she was going like to her home versus Orihime that was going to something like completely alien to her and not being surrounded by a Renji that she knows, not seeing her brother Byakuya, not seeing these familiar faces. She was like put in a position where she knew no one. Aizen's being like a fucking weirdo. And, you know, people are trying to break her down physically, emotionally, like Rukia did not have that. They oh, you want this? Do you want this? Like, oh, you know, like, of course they're a little mean, like, but damn, like,
but everybody was come visiting her, giving her like letters and shit through the bars.
Yeah, Orihime is just like, you know, being told visions like your friends are dead. Damn.
Yeah, and you know, poor Orihime just has old Kiora just there constantly like trying to do psychological warfare on her, like every chance he's always popping in, like just trying to mess with her. That's his prey. Yeah. He
admitted that.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Yeah, he's really getting a little too comfortable, you know.
And yeah, you didn't have people jealous of Rukia going there freaking like beating her ass up. Like, damn. Like, oh, you want to play? Like, no, Rukia was kind of just like, you know, stewing her own like, you know, sadness and just being like, oh, I remember, I hope my friends don't come. And Orihime's like in the same boat, but it definitely was the same thing. Like same panels, but like longingly looking up at like in their cell or whatever. And it was like kind of similar, but that's where I see the difference completely. You got
to remember what the Arrancar are. And I think that's what was my favorite part about this was, you know, a lot of the Grimjaw backstory, because we have to remember that what it takes to make, I'm gonna butcher this word, but an adjutant or ajucha, yeah,
ajucha,
yeah, and a Gillian to an ajucha to a Vasto Lord, and that they are, you know, you're a hollow, and then a hollow eats a bunch of other hollows and becomes a Gillian, and then a Gillian eats a bunch of other Gillians and becomes a ajucha, bless you, and then you know. Then they have to constantly keep consuming other hollows in hopes of maybe becoming a Vasto Lord. And if they don't, they're going to revert back to being a Gillian and lose their identity, lose their self, lose who they are. And again, so that could be another parallel maybe between Soul Society, because a lot of it was like them figuring out and like coming to terms with like being who they are outside of the confines and rules of Soul Society, outside of society. And now the Arrancar, who have been like given this like life and given this power of a Shinigami, like desperately either trying to cling to that or, you know, struggling to, you know, to deal with this new power. Like they are hollows, you know, an amalgamation, a bunch of souls kind of combined and lost, and you know, to create this new thing, and they've been given this like, you know what I mean, like new life, and they're just trying to navigate that shit. They're just trying to figure that shit out, you know. And I think I feel that way because of Grimjaw too. Like, and
I mean, I don't know how many years they've been alive versus like the Soul Reapers, because we get that little flashback in the chapters that we're going to be reading in the next episode, of like how old they really are, how long they could live, like depending on how many years these souls have lived. Like they're definitely younger, less experienced, more naive, I would think. And that's why Aizen is telling them like, don't underestimate them. Like just because you're powerful, just because you're brand new doesn't mean like they can't do anything. Like doesn't mean that they are going to be powerless against you. And they kind of do. They kind of, all of them literally underestimate everyone on the team. Of course there's like, you know, people that get beaten on our side, but the parallels between Aizen working in the shadows versus working full front in front of everyone, you know, pulling the strings.
Full frontal.
full frontal, Aizen full frontal.
Yeah.
Buy it now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is interesting to see where it's going to go from here, because it just seems like it's going to be another Soul Society.
Yeah.
After this, because we do get that little break of backstory, we get that little break of lore, and then they're just going to go straight into
the
Katakura, the Katakura sneak entry arc, you know?
Yeah, the Katakura sneak entry and the Katakura, and then like, you know, then someone gets, you know,
fierce
kidnapped.
Fight, yeah.
But
this time it's gonna be Chad.
Yeah,
you know?
or Karin gets kidnapped or something.
Yeah, for sure.
No, but I do think that, you know, a lot of people might even lump sort of the end of what happens in Katakura. They might link that or you know, include that in this like Hueco Mundo, Arrancar, Aizen sort of like arc.
And Aizen remains, I mean, I guess this is like kind of a spoiler, but does Aizen remain the big bad throughout all of Bleach?
I guess you just have to wait and see. Because in my memory, after this whole Katakura incident, it's going to change some things. It's going to change some things. So at least there's that. Dude, my chair keeps squeaking, dude. It sounds like, you know, neighbors fucking through a wall or something like that. It kind of does, you know, like, it kind of sounds like that.
Josh.
That's just, I'm trying to have this like intellectual, philosophical, and deep conversation about a manga that I love, and I keep hearing squeaking. But anyway. But I just wanted to get your opinion on all of that. I wanted to get your opinion on, first of all, for me too, I have to say that you hear it. You hear the chair?
Oh yeah, of course I hear the chair. That was
yeah.
I was laughing at what you're gonna. I wonder what you're gonna say next.
Well, there's two things, right? So I was gonna say one thing, but I'll switch. I'll save it to the end.
Oh,
because for me, two characters that really save Hueco Mundo and make it, I think, are a big factor in why I enjoyed it a lot more are Pesci? Joe Pesci?
I thought it was like Pesci.
Maybe it's Pesci, Pesk.
Pesh and what's his name? Or what's his name?
yeah. The hollows that are with Dondo Chaka.
Dondo Chaka and Pesci.
They really save it for me.
Yeah, they're adorable.
And their interactions with
they're hilarious.
Ishida, Uryu, and you know, in their fights, and even Renji and everybody who they were kind of with the whole time. They were so genuinely funny and made a fight more than just a fight. They made it like an enjoyable experience.
It was both of them and Nell. I mean, as much as like you know, you don't want to compare Nell and Yoriichi, like they are very similar in their like abilities, like how there's something that, you know, there's a history behind them, and they're hiding behind this like version of themselves that's not really themselves, and they are similar in that sense. But I did like Nell's character. I'm not the biggest fan of when anime and manga do that type of trope where it's like, this is a child, but actually their powers were just drained. They're actually a full-grown lady.
Yeah, fully grown lady.
Full
grown, full body.
Little too grown.
Yeah. I think it was handled very well here.
No, honestly,
as tastefully as possible.
It totally was. And I, you know, usually I'm not the biggest fan. Like, it's her freaking like Raftilia situation. Like, she grew up in 3 days. You know, it's like, okay, well, chill. But I had a feeling because I had seen this character before. And then I saw Nell, and I was like, hopefully this is a big sister situation. Hopefully, they're like, we need to find Nell because her sister is going to be really angry if we can't find her. Yeah. I was like really holding on for hope during the whole thing before it was revealed.
Yeah.
And right when it was revealed, I was like, damn, like, that's okay.
But you ended up really liking Nell's character.
I do, but that's what I know, but I would love for them to be, because I like Nell as this character, and like, I don't know how much they're going to flip-flop and how much that's going to be like, dependent on just like, well, we want cute Nell back.
Yeah.
Now we want badass Nell back.
Yeah.
It's just going to be like a switch that can be flipped whenever, you know, and I just hope that they don't do that. Like, I like them separately a lot, even though they're the same person. But I just feel like, I hope it's not like a thing that just, you know, is convenient for the time and the place.
And
you
I
know?
don't want to bring it back here, but I couldn't help but feel this way when I was reading it. There's a moment with Nell, we read a Miura one shot gigantomachia. And we had some thoughts and opinions on how sort of that situation with that younger girl was handled, specifically her, peeing on people
her
and
nectar,
her
and
it being translated as her nectar. And it just seemed a little weird and a little odd. But here, Nell is doing something like kind of similar. She's not peeing on people, but she's like drooling all over people. But then she's like shoving her fingers down her throat and like vomiting on people. This is how you do that.
She was yanking on that tonsils.
I was like,
she was pulling a freaking 20-year-old Mehgan at the club.
Damn, Mehgan, that's dark.
I'm sorry, I had to get it out to feel better. You drink a lot, and you're like, the only way is it going to come out, and then I have to rally for the next, couple hours.
I thought it was a little darker than that. That's a little better.
Okay, no, I'm not implying anything else. I'm implying that I feel horrible. I'm in the bathroom. There's going to be two options: me to leave,
right,
and stop drinking, or yak my brains out.
But I was just saying, I'm glad it went there. I'm glad it went that direction and not the other direction. This is me. This is 21-year-old Mehgan after the Olive Garden, That would have been dark.
No. I meant something less sinister and just still bad. Don't do that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It was just a joke.
Yeah, what a crazy thing, That's the hold that alcohol has on people sometimes, I want to drink more of this thing, but I can't.
Because it's making me feel sick.
Yeah, so what can I do? I know I need to shove my fingers down my throat and vomit all of it out so I can ingest more of it. Crazy. But I just want to say that to me, like when I was reading this, I was like, see, this is how you do it. The whole situation in gigantomachia just felt so off to me and so weird. This didn't feel weird or off at all. It was kind of the same thing. This little young girl character who was just like, again, just drooling all over everybody and like vomiting all over. It was way funnier. It actually made me laugh, and it didn't set off any weird alarms, like the other one shot did.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to give props to Kubo for that. Thank you for that, Kubo.
Yeah, it's not to say that this arc had nothing sussy in it.
There was one Mayuri thing that was just like super sussy.
We'll get there when we get there.
But at least Kubo had the decency to have that shit take place off page,
and honestly, it's better because it's like it opens up the imagination. You're thinking like, what's happening? Like, why isn't he showing it? Why are they reacting that way? Like
he puts the ball in your court.
He puts the ball in your court.
Yeah, he's like,
what?
It could have been. You were thinking of that.
Exactly.
You're a freak. Luck you up.
Exactly. It's very classy.
Yeah.
It had me guessing. It had me wondering.
It had Mehgan like looking up shit on like wikis and like, she went to the scene in the anime. She was really trying to deduce what exactly was happening. She turned into a real Moriarty over there.
As soon as I found out that they actually weren't related, this was like a Frankenstein, Dr. Frankenstein type of monster, relationship. I was like, okay, I just want to,
because
I just want to know.
In Soul Society, he did say that was his daughter or
his creation. They aren't related, but I mean, I don't know.
But
I don't know.
Outside of that,
Hopefully
I'm just going
not.
over everything else that I wrote down and just wanted to get out any remaining final thoughts that I had before we started going through it. But just I guess other than that, I want to say that maybe the parallel was also drawn, and I don't know if this is obvious or not, or has been stated somewhere else or not, but maybe it's not just a parallel to Soul Society in the sense that it's trying to show you, like our highlighted comment of the day, not just the growth of certain characters, but maybe it's to show you because when we first entered Soul Society, this was a place that we thought to be equivalent to heaven. Hueco Mundo is not hell. Hell exists in Bleach. I'll just say that. And Hueco Mundo is not hell. But we thought at the time, Soul Society kind of like a heaven-esque situation. We were kind of clued in on exactly the religious parallels that it was pulling from, or other religions that it was pulling from. Mm-hmm. However, we get there and we find that it's not a perfect place. It's far from a perfect place. It's a place that is also kind of corrupt and mistreats a lot of its residents, I guess.
Well, I mean,
and so I just want to say real quick before I forget, and don't lose your thought, please, Mehgan, don't lose your thought. But maybe it's to show us that Hueco Mundo and Soul Society ain't that different. Hueco Mundo being a bad place, Soul Society is supposed to be a good place. Turns out, ain't that different.
It's really not that different, and we do get a lot of like cool speeches in this part of Bleach. We get the Mayuri speech about like perfection and how it's like, it does not make for good experiments. There's, perfection is what scientists call like, dread, or what does he say? He goes, I have it here. Perfection, it leaves no room for innovation or improvement. Perfection means despair. So like Aizen's trying to make this perfect world with these perfect beings. It's just not possible because they also have desires and drives and motivations. I think character says, like, oh, dang it, what was the line? It's like, you can go towards the same goals. I'm talking about? We have the same goals, but that doesn't mean we share the same
I think it either
likeness. I forgot.
It might have been. It was either with Ichigo or Grimjaw, or Ichigo versus Dordani.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, that's what they were talking about. That's when the topic of purpose came up, and they were both talking about their purpose. And Ichigo does finally kind of wise up and realize, like, damn. I loved that moment from Ichigo too, because he was talking about his purpose and what his purpose is, and his purpose gets questioned throughout by this Dordani, Arrancar, or ex Arrancar, and Grimjaw. But in this conversation, he's saying, like, I'm here to protect people, and I know I wanted to conserve my energy and save my energy, but it's causing my friends that I want to protect to be in danger. I'm foolish. I think he says, like, I've been a fool.
Yeah, I've been fooling around.
Yeah, I've been fooling around.
Yeah.
But I like that too. I like that a lot.
Also, I mean, we get to see like I said, like they're all, they have the same goal, but it doesn't mean they have the same like aspirations. So when they're talking about like Soul Reapers looking down on them and thinking that they're God and playing God, it's like, well, you're following a guy who's like claiming to be God, so it's like super, what's the word?
Hypocritical?
Yeah, hypocritical. It's super hypocritical because they're talking all this shit about Soul Reapers, and then when they all die, they're like screaming for Lord Aizen that's not saving them. That's technically like, oh, I'm God, but he can't save you because he's not.
And it does seem to be like a lot of them are sort of like starting to question or starting to kind of like do their own thing.
Well, yeah, because they have all the power now.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like, oh, well, I could take you now. I don't have to listen to you. Like, thanks for this, but I'm gonna take it and run type of thing, because they are freaking hollows. I did like that whole speech though about like, who gave permission to Soul Reapers to be the end all, like who gave you the permission to like, be able to defeat us or like take us away, like, you're not gods, like you act like you're gods, you act like you're so, above us and stuff. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Aizen is like,
he really thinks he's out here, acting like a god, thinking he's a god.
Is a Soul Reaper, so it's like.
And yeah, that's a great point. He does kind of represent like the worst of them, and something that, they are all, I guess, kind of capable of if they ever, decide to go that way. Mm-hmm. Entitled and all these things. Before we get started, I want to ask you one final question, Mehgan. If you had to give an answer, and I don't want to put the pressure on you, but if you had to give an answer, Soul Society or Hueco Mundo, which do you prefer? Which one would you put above the other if you really had to? And I know this isn't planned, so this is just like a gut reaction. Mehgan frantically flipping through the notes to see. Are you looking back on your Soul Society notes to see what happened? Are you just flipping random pages now? Now you just look like you're predicting the future. What's in the cards?
I would say the Arrancar arrival arc.
Okay, loopholes. You found a loophole. I
don't know. I mean, Soul Society felt super long.
The only reason
I don't know. I couldn't. What do you say?
The only reason I would say that I think I wound
Why do we have to verse them?
We don't have to, but I think it makes for a fun little question, a little controversy, spice up the episode. Again, we don't always have to like compare things, or one doesn't always have to be above the other. But the reason I would say, upon reread later, the reason I liked the Hueco Mundo arc a little bit more was because, and this is natural and it makes sense and it's not going to be that crazy of an answer, but it's just because like the characters that we've seen they're more established, their relationships, their dynamics, their personalities are starting to come through a lot more. We're starting to understand who they are. We're starting to feel connected to them. The Dondo Chaka, the Pesk or Pesci or whatever, and Nell too. I really think that they were a really like essential part of this arc and a very necessary part of this arc, and made it more enjoyable and gave it more than just like, and there was humor in Soul Society too, but I just feel like they offered like their humor always hit with me, and it just like, it was my type of humor.
It gave a little bit of reprieve from what was going on consistently. I felt like with Soul Society, it just felt so like serious, whereas this felt a little lighter. Yeah.
The only other thing I'll say though, if we have to give it a nitpick or a critique, is towards the end. And this is like, I really wanted to be very clear and say that a lot of it wasn't fresh. So a lot of these impressions are me going back way later and rediscovering things. And I really found myself enjoying Hueco Mundo. For the most part, as a whole, I enjoyed it. However, and I think me and you both felt very fatigued at a certain point to keep it 100. Me and you both felt a little fatigued because, this is a battle-heavy arc portion. And that's why we're kind of front-loading this episode, because there are really cool and important speeches and moments sprinkled throughout. But a lot of it is just fight after fight after fight, which can feel exhausting. But what was more exhausting is it was like 10 fights going on at the same time. I'm maybe exaggerating a little bit.
That's a little, yeah.
But it was multiple fights going on at the same time, and everybody was delivering like finishing move. He's dead. Psych. He's not dead.
It's too much.
Now here's my real finishing move, and now he's dead. Nope, still not dead. Here's his other regeneration finishing move. You know what I mean? And it's just like that.
It just wasn't fooling anyone. It wasn't fooling anyone. It didn't fool me. And I know before you say it, before we're getting ahead of the comments here, because we do read One Piece. Yes. That is one of the critiques I had in Dressrosa. With a certain character. I don't want to give anything away if you haven't read One Piece at all, but there was a certain character that just so happened to kept saying that he was dead. He was dead. He was dead. He was dead. And I was like, I don't believe any of this. Why do we continue to do this? And One Piece does do that a lot with the fake out deaths with, okay, well, they're probably fine. Okay, everyone's kind of safe. The Straw Hats, like, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure they'll work it out. And, they're bleeding out, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Same thing with Bleach. I mean, it happened with Rukia. It happened with Chad. They even showing, like, visions to people, like, they're dead. Their life force is gone. Their spirit energy is depleted. They're gone. And
they're for sure 100% gone.
Dead. I was like, I don't.
I don't
believe any of this. And even the fights, I mean, that's what's kind of worrisome for me going forward. Like, when are the stakes going to be high? Like, who is going to die? Like, I thought Momo died, but she didn't.
Yeah.
She's still alive.
She's still kicking. She's still brainwashed.
I saw someone comment too saying, that wasn't the meaning for Momo. She had to survive to show the, complete emotional damage that Aizen did to her. And I was like, yeah, but I would have much rather had her die, because I feel like I haven't gotten anything besides flashbacks from people actually dying. Am I right about that? I mean, have we seen any real death?
Outside of flashbacks, I don't think we have
Aizen,
seen any real
when he
death.
died, fake.
Yeah.
Fake as fuck.
The fakest.
The fakest fucker alive.
Yeah, he's a fake guy too.
He's a fake guy.
He's an illusion.
He's an illusional
He's a hypnotist.
man. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, it's just like, I know Ichigo is gonna be fine. I know Orihime is gonna be fine. I know Chad's gonna be fine. And that is just a problem with a long series. You see the characters, you're seeing trailers for new anime. Of course, nothing happens to them of real stakes, which kind of sucks. I mean, that happens a lot with just shonen in general, I think. Yeah. But yeah, that was one of the biggest problems for me. And it's just like we read other things that we do have the same problems, but this felt like the stakes were the
stakes were,
it just wasn't there. Some moments I was like, oh wow, like dang.
Yeah, I think the highlight moments for me were, like you said, from the speeches and from these interactions. And not from when I thought Chad was dead, or not when I thought, this person was dead, or even when this person showed up. It was more so from these like moments of dialogue between these fights.
Moments of dialogue, and also the matchups. I mean, we've seen Mayuri, we've seen, Kenny, we've seen Byakuya, we've seen all of them fight. But this was really cool to see them fight again. Like, I loved seeing that Mayuri fight. That was probably the highlight for me. That was super sick. And the fact that I'm rooting for this guy after like hating him completely in Soul Society against Ishida, he was he was a freaking dirt under my shoe. Like, I hated this fool. And to see him being like, you're like, oh, that was so
Well, because you
sick.
know how twisted and fucked up he is.
You know.
So you're like, give him some of that twisted shit.
Yeah. Do that twisted shit. Do that twisted shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, put right hand on red.
Yeah, okay, do that
Left
twisted
leg
shit.
on blue.
Now you're talking about the game Twister.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm twisted up. I'm twisted.
That was super, super, super cool. Kenny, obviously, like, I just love, like, seeing characters who think they're so fucking badass, think they're so fucking twisted, they think they're so fucking, oh, no one thinks like me. And I'm like, yeah, bitch, get ready. Like, you're about to get slapped in the face with some fucking knowledge.
Yeah.
Respect your elders.
Yeah.
And that's what I did like about Huecamundo way more, I think. So, speaking about that and seeing those moments, Ishida was the highlight of Soul Society, but it just wasn't enough for me to feel the way I felt in these couple chapters.
But again, Huecamundo wouldn't hit the same without Soul Society.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not really, again, completely fair to say, oh, Huecamundo, I had more fun in Huecamundo, because it wouldn't have been that fun without Soul Society.
I agree. And also having Orihime, I felt the stakes felt more real for Orihime than they did Rukia. I knew, obviously, they would probably save Rukia, but again, she was surrounded by friends, familiar faces, familiar home. Like, Orihime is kind of just, like, shattered, and she's getting, like, her shit rocked, and I just feel so horrible for her.
Yeah.
Way more than I felt for Rukia. I mean, I felt sad for Rukia, but I felt more sad for everyone else having to see Rukia, like, go through this. Like, Renji and freaking Ichigo. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so, again, just to reiterate, Huecamundo, for the most part, overall, a lot of fun, but I gotta be completely 100% honest and say that there was a small part of me that at a certain point did get a little fatigued, and was, getting a little frustrated with everybody having one more finishing move, which, like Mehgan said, is just battle shonen manga.
Mm-hmm.
Bleach isn't just that. There is more to it, but that is a big part of this arc.
Oh yeah, you see that. I mean, again, like, not to compare, but you see that in One Piece. You see that with different types of shonen series. I mean, it is just like, oh, my finishing move, and it's like, but that finishing move wasn't the last one. Here's my other finishing move, or like, here's a power up right before I thought I was completely depleted, like, or I'm gonna heal you real quick, go back in the battle. Like, that's just kind of like the stakes feel super. I don't want to say like
they feel low for the main cast of characters.
For sure. Everyone else, I'm like, it could happen, but usually it doesn't. And I don't know. I don't know why I crave death.
Oh my God. You're an Arrancar, dude.
I just crave it. I'm like, who's gonna die?
Mehgan is an Arrancar.
That would make sense. You're a freaking Soul Reaper.
She's the 69th Arrancar. Yeah.
I'm the 420th Arrancar.
Well, you were the 69th, and then you got kind of demoted to 420, the 420th.
Yeah.
Arrancar.
And then I was number 1.
Right. And I would be in Soul Society, but I'd be like the Urahara of Soul Society. You know what I'm saying?
Like, you'd like to think that.
Okay. All right. Moving on. Let's just get into it. Yeah. All right. So, where we left off and where we pick back up is we pick back up with Dondo Chaka, and he's looking for Nell, and he's a little concerned because he's kind of alluding to something happening. He's following Renji, and he's kind of saying like, "Oh, we need to get her. Something's coming or something's gonna happen." Leading you to believe or leading you to be a little curious as to what exactly he's talking about. We all kind of know or have a sense of what's coming.
I didn't have a sense.
Well, we just have a sense that she's not what she sees. Something is up with her.
Something's up.
And we've kind of seen that sprinkled throughout up until this point. She's kind of done little things here and there, to get you intrigued about who she really is. Then we really start to focus on the Ichigo versus the Dordani.
Show me your Bankai, Nino.
Nino? This fool's my Tio, bro.
Show me your Bankai, Nino.
And he's like, no. He's like,
hey, show me your Bankai, Nino.
And he's like, nah. He's like, nah, I'm good, homie.
Yeah.
Nah, fool, I'm good. And he's like,
what, are you scared?
Yeah. How are you gonna protect your friends, fool?
I guess you're scared, huh?
And just to be clear, in case there's anybody wondering, I'm half Mexican, bro. I can do this, all right? Because there's gonna be one person in the comments like, oh, you're racist.
Yeah, and I'm Latino, so.
Yeah, but you're like Puerto Rican or something like that.
Now you're gonna get it. Now you're gonna fucking get it in the comments. After him, canceled. Fucking canceled. Puerto Rican and Nicaraguan, bitch. But you're Puerto Rican, though.
I'm just kidding. I can't have a little fun, a little Mexican versus Puerto Rican action going on right now. What? Damn.
Can you shut that chair up?
I'm
it's
sorry.
Fucking way too fucking
Can you
loud.
guys stop fucking back there, please? Yeah, knock on the wall.
Hello, you got some explaining to do. Show me your Bankai Nino. This fool begged to die.
Yeah, dude. And you know what? I kind of ended up really liking him by the end of it. He was talking about purpose. A lot of it was purpose.
Again, having these characters that are supposed to be mean, and then they're like, something else happens, like, run.
Yeah.
You can't be defeated. I'm like, stop this madness. Just have them be bad.
Yeah, exactly. But I think, again,
he's like, show no mercy. Show no mercy. Like,
this is a lot of them finding out who they are. They haven't been, now because they've tapped in recently to the Soul Reaper, the Shinigami side of them, or is where they're getting some of their power from. So this is kind of like a whole new thing for them. So they're kind of figuring out who they are. They're kind of figuring out who they are. So his fight and, his conversation or his, little speech about purpose. And, he was telling Ichigo that, your purpose is to protect your friends, but my purpose is to fight you at your most powerful. And that's when Ichigo realizes that by having pride or by wanting to play it safe or whatever, that he is actually counterproductive to his actual purpose, which is to protect his friends.
Leave your chocolate sweetness here, fool.
I mean, he did say that. He literally word for word said that. He's like, leave your sweet ass chocolate shit here.
Yeah.
Leave
your chocolate sweetness here, fool. And he's like, what? And he goes, nothing. Like,
leave your sweet ass here, fool, and let your demon come out.
I didn't say anything.
And he's like, huh? What'd you say?
Nothing.
Yeah. I liked this guy a lot. And I liked that moment specifically from Ichigo. There's another moment during their fight where we do see a little bit more from Nell. She absorbs his Zero. And she
freaking
like,
Kirby confirmed.
She Kirby'd it, bro.
Hi.
She Kirby'd it and she burped it right back at him.
She did.
Yeah.
She was like,
were you gonna burp and then nothing came out or what? Yeah. Megan's like miming over here, miming burps. Oh, it looks like she's like you're like a beast or something. Dude, it doesn't even look like a burp. Dude, it looks crazy. What is that?
I'm nailing it.
Right. Well, you need to nullify whatever that is.
That was good.
I think
I have something written the same.
It was bad. It was bad.
I feel like, Josh, you go through my notes before we record and you're like, good, that one's good.
I do.
And then you like play it up, so I can't say anything on the camera.
Yeah, I steal your chocolate sweetness.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is when Ichigo kind of wises up. He does decide to perform his Bankai, and he actually holifies too. And this was another epic moment from Ichigo when he's like, "Show me I want to see your full power." And he's like, "All right, but I'll show it to you, but only for a second." He shows it to him, whoops his ass, and and then the mask sort of deteriorates. He's like, "I told you, I'd show you, but it was only going to be for a second." Really cool ass, movie line, kind of third act,
for sure.
kind of climax line.
For sure.
But really that is the end of their fight. Ichigo is able to defeat him, and we get a little bit of backstory, a little emotion, I should say, or a little of how our guy, our Theo Dordani is feeling. And how he's feeling is he's like, look, man, I know Arrancar, Espada, I know they're expendable. He's like, but I just felt like there was still a part of me that just felt like if I could beat you at your most powerful, that I could, win.
Rise in the ranks
I could rise up again and I could win Aizen's approval. And that's why I was, trying so desperately, even though I think he's starting to realize that like Aizen is not even someone whose approval he necessarily wants anymore. But he's like, I really just thought I could rise up in the ranks and I thought I could do it. That's when Nell salivates all over him, throws up all over him. And he goes after Ichigo all over again.
Yeah,
he goes
I don't
right
know
back
why.
over.
I don't know why Ichigo did that.
I don't really know either, to be honest.
I mean, we've seen it again and again from Ichigo, healing his opponents. Like, when is he gonna learn that shit can bite him in the ass real quick?
And it usually does.
It usually does. Only thing it didn't, freaking freaking Baldy.
Oh, Ikaku.
Ikaku, that was the only time it kind of worked in his favor because he gave him like information. He was kind of rapping with him. Like, that's the only time. This is like another situation where it's like, don't do that. And if you do that again, if he does that again.
I mean, it's just part of his character, I guess, you know.
But he's got to leave his chocolate sweetness at the door.
He does. He needs to leave his chocolate sweetness at the door. He even says that.
He's like, you can't do that. Like, they're going to kill you.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to straight up freaking murder you if you do this. Like, why?
Yeah.
And he's got bigger fish to fry than just be like, oh, can you heal him real quick now? I'm like, you gotta get going. You know?
And you're gonna need now. What if there's a limit on how much he can heal people? You're gonna need that.
Yeah.
But anyway, you know, they're able to kind of defeat him again, hold him back, and the Exequias show up and kind of take him out. Actually.
Yeah, they're taking a lot of people out.
Yeah. And they're operating outside of Aizen's command.
Mm-hmm.
And that's already a little something intriguing right there.
Mm-hmm.
But he says, that's what he says, leave your sweetness here and become a demon. Maybe we added the chocolate part.
No, he said, leave your chocolate sweetness here.
Okay.
No, we didn't imagine that. That was the thing.
Then we cut to Grants confessing to Aizen that he is sending all these Exequias. I hope that's how you say it. After all of these like fallen espadas. But Aizen, again, knows this fool is up to something because he is purposely withholding and omitting the information that he has extracted about their opponent's spirit pressure and its reports. And Aizen goes like, all right, you know, as long as you're kind of doing what you're doing for a good reason. And then he goes, thank you, sir. And he goes, but why would you leave this shit out? And he's kind of like freaks out.
Yeah,
you know?
That's like the word. It's like your parent. Like, you know, you think you got away with it. You're walking away. You're like, ha ha ha, I got it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh hey, can you know, that I don't know. I don't have an example, but you've been in that situation before where you're caught in a lie, but they're so calm about it. They're so smooth about it, and you're like,
yeah. That's the scariest
that's
thing.
That's the scariest moment of your life when you're just like,
yeah.
You thought you got away with it.
Yeah.
You got away with it, and then they bring it right back with like the most calm like sentence, just like completely nullifying everything you just said.
Yeah.
Because they already know everything.
Yeah, because they're like, okay, let me try. You know, not that this ever happened to me, but let me try. Because they like walk in your room the next day and they're like, yeah, so you know, I heard there was alcohol at your friend Timmy's house last night. You know, let's say you're like 18 years old, right? 17 maybe.
Yeah.
I heard there was alcohol at your friend Timmy's house last night. And you're like, oh
no.
Well,
but they were drinking. They were drinking. It wasn't me. Like I told him that I can't. So.
No, but in this situation, he did fess up to it. So the kid has to fess up to it too. So he has to go like, yeah, but you know, we were just at Timmy's house, you know, and his parents said it was cool, and they let it happen, you know, and you know, your parents kind of like, okay, you know, as long as you were doing it in a controlled environment and as long as you were safe, and you're telling me the truth and they were aware and you were under the supervision of other adults, okay, cool. These are cool ass parents. I'm a cool ass parent. Okay, that's cool. And he's like, whew. He's like, but this morning you told me you drove home last night. How'd you drive home last night? And then you're like, you know what I mean? Kind of like that.
Or no, it's like, okay, yeah. So it's just kind of weird because I called last night and Timmy's parents said no one was over.
Right. See, that's maybe a little bit better.
And you go, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, they called and they said Timmy wasn't even home.
They were looking for Timmy.
Yeah, they were looking for Timmy too. It was a little weird.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one. You're like, because it gave you the opportunity to be honest and you thought you were going to score brownie points by being honest, but then they have more information than you think they have.
Yeah. Playing it cool.
Aizen's
every parent.
Aizen's a dad.
Yeah.
Mama. He's a mama.
Mama Aizen.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so we kind of cut back to Pesci.
Joe Pesci.
Okay, in Megan's mind, it is Joe Pesci. And he's kind of teaming up with...
he's like, what, am I funny to you?
He is so funny, though.
He's like, what, am I a joke? Am I a clown? It's like, no. It's like Joe Pesci's favorite
what's so
line
funny?
in Goodfellas.
This character and the Dondo Chaka character could be like the Home Alone burglars.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Joe Pesci and the other guy. They could be.
Yeah.
Anyway, now I'm not going to be able to unsee that. They're breaking into like, they're like, it's like.
Yeah, Nell has a freaking like, Nell puts out all the nails.
Well, no, it could be Nell. It could be Nell. But I'm thinking like, I don't know why I still have Karin in my mind. Like Ichigo's sister, like the whole family goes. And she's like, because she's a little bit more tsundere, right? So she's like, I want to stay home, And, or they forget her or something,
Yeah. I wish my whole family disappeared.
And then, Pesky and what is his name? Dondo Chaka break in. Totally the Home Alone burglars. But him and Ishida kind of come together and they fight. Ishida fights the Arrancar. I'm going to butcher every Arrancar name. Guarantee that. The Arrancar.
Saruki Sanderwicki. Saruki Sanderwicki. I like this little clown bug girl.
She's cool. She's cool.
I mean, she's not cool, but she's like, her aesthetic is cool.
But I'm gonna call him Pesk. He roasts Ishida. Uryu. He keeps confusing him with Ichigo. He's like, damn, I got paired with the weakest of all. And you can see his little ranking. He saved it for me. On top of his infinite slick, that whole infinite slick conversation.
Yeah. He's like, well, it runs out. I lied. He's like, what do you mean?
Because the build up to that, he's like, it's infinite. And he's like, no, it has a limit. And he's like, then why did you call it infinite slick? And he's like, I lied about that. But it's just a whole build up to in the middle of this crazy Arrancar Espada fight or whatever extra Espada fight.
Then we get a little freaking sword action from Ishida.
What you think is a sword.
He's like, you're like, damn. He's like, I didn't want to have to use this.
I thought Ishida had the dark saber right there for a second. I was a little excited, but it turns out that Quincy's only use bow and arrows, and you can't forget that. But it is the only Quincy weapon that has a blade, the Soul Cutter, and this was awesome. Another like bat. I mean, this man just gets cooler and cooler and cooler. Sometimes I can't help but feel like Ichigo who.
Ooh.
Ichigo who sometimes in these Quincy Ishida Uryu fights. I can't help. Sometimes I'm like, what?
You're done.
I'm done. I'm done. So, he's able to bust that out. You kind of think it's a little lightsaber kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it is actually an arrow to be shot from a bow, and they're able to eliminate their Arrancar or Ex-Espada and the Exikias. I'm so sorry, and forgive me. They come for her. They come for her too.
Yeah, she's like, fuck.
Then we get a Chad moment.
Chad got a hollow arm. And it's his freaking abuelo.
Well, his defensive arm, his protective arm,
it's abuelo.
His abuelo lives in that.
Yeah. Is that like just a figure of speech? He's just like, my family lives within me, or is it like, no, my abuelo's like straight up in my arm?
That'd be crazy, dude. Like
that's how why wouldn't that be the case? It's Bleach, it's
Bleach.
That means he didn't go to heaven.
Well, he just went to his grandson's arm.
Yeah, that's where he wanted to spend the rest of his days.
Yeah.
Yeah, and which writer left?
Exactly. Is Chad right-handed or left-handed, and what's he getting up to in between missions to other realms?
Yeah, because if he got the extra strength, like who knows what that boy's doing? He's still a high schooler.
He's still a high schooler, even though he looks 37 years old.
Yeah,
and he's got a hollow arm. You know what I'm saying?
It's over.
It's over.
But take the soul out of him.
This was a hype moment for me too, dude, because I love Chad, and Chad always kind of just gets these like cool badass moments.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to see more Chad. I want to see more depth. I want to see more explanation as to what exactly is going on, like his powers. Let's develop him a little bit more. Let's see him a little bit more. And here we kind of do, even though it is on top of what I love from Chad, another badass moment.
Yeah, I feel like it's just like sprinkles of Chad. Like, hey, like, I'll get a scoop, get 2 scoops of Ichigo and my side will be Chad.
Yeah.
And it's like, I want 1 scoop Chad, half a scoop Ichigo.
Oh, damn, half a scoop Ichigo.
And then another scoop of Rukia. That's what I want. Or like, I want 1
Girl, you at the ice cream buffet in Soul Society with all them captains.
And
a Arrancar too. You're underneath the soft serve machine. Yeah, that's you.
Yeah, that is me.
That is you.
I won't go into this because I'm gonna be eating a lot of ice cream if we do the scoop analogy. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
And I've already eaten enough ice cream in real life. I can't
That
even.
is
I can't even afford
true.
imaginary calories right now.
That's true.
Okay.
But yeah, Chad's always getting the sprinkles. You know, give me a full scoop of Chad.
Yeah, full scoop of Chad.
Yeah.
But I do like what we got here. Even the revelation that his powers are more hollow than Shinigami, and that whole monologue, that little speech that he gave about how he's like, when I got here, I started tingling. And I didn't start tingling when I came to Soul Society.
It's a different type of feeling.
It was a different type of feeling.
In my bones.
And he has the right arm of the giant, which is a defensive ability that grows a mouth and a shield. And
Dude, mouth on his right arm, he's done.
Mehgan, chill. Chill. I don't want that mouth nowhere near me.
He's done.
I don't want that mouth nowhere near me. Now, the shield I might have a use for, but the mouth I don't want nowhere near me. That's the noise, That's the Bleach. That was my attempt at the Bleach, kind of like OST,
Oh. I don't know it.
Okay.
I barely watched any of the anime. Should get on that, huh?
Yeah. What I was going to say, though, is, this whole time, Chad has been using this arm to defend, to protect. Because, again, his grandfather has told him to use his power to protect people. But he has, going to Hueco Mundo, has awakened, and fighting this Extra Spada has awakened his other offensive ability, the left arm of the demon, which is so fucking sick. And, again, just the idea and just the cementing of these abilities being more likened to hollows than Shinigami. This is why we need more Chad. More Chad, please.
More Chad, please. Thank you. Extra scoop of Chad, please.
That's when Noitora shows up and kind of slices up Chad, and everybody is like, Chad's gone.
Yeah, everyone,
dead.
The way they can all feel it, they're like, oh.
Yeah. Everybody is literally, their exact words are, Chad's spiritual pressure has been erased completely.
Depleted forever.
I can't even sense a single trace of it. He's dead. He's a goner. He's not here anymore. He's no longer with us.
Yeah.
And then like the next chapter, they're like, it's not quite
it's
out
faint.
yet. It's faint.
It's a faint air of spirit energy.
And I'm like, come on, man. Ain't nobody buying this.
Just at least have him like passed out or maybe kidnapped, like another kidnap situation. I'd much rather have that than be like, he's dead.
Right. But then Ulquiorra goes to taunt Orihime, and she's like, you felt that? You felt that one of your friends just died? And she's like,
yeah,
no,
you felt that
it's
shit?
faint. It's faint.
You felt that shit? Your friend's fucking dead.
And she goes, it's faint. It's faint. And he's like, so one of your friends died a little earlier than the rest of them. They're all going to die anyway. And she's like, don't ask me. She didn't say this part. She didn't say this part, but she's like, don't ask me if I felt that. I'm going to ask you if you can feel this. Bam! And she slapped him across the face.
She does. She bitch slaps him.
Good.
Yeah, good.
Good.
He's talking shit. Like, expect to get hit. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, he's on that. He is way too obsessed with this like psychological warfare thing.
No, he likes Orihime. He doesn't know where to place it.
Right, it's misplaced.
Yeah, he doesn't know. I don't think any of them know what romance is. I mean, we do get that little scene with that girl on top of that man. Espada.
That girl on top of that man.
Remember that scene where they're like, oh, so and so's dead, and he's like, yeah, I know. And she's like, what do you want to do about it?
I don't remember.
You don't remember that part?
I don't remember. Maybe if
the
end. I had more information on the characters, I would know.
It's like right before. It's one of the guys that takes Orihime back towards the end.
Oh, right. Yeah, I know who you're talking about now. Mm-hmm. Now we cut to Rukia versus, again, gonna butcher this one, Arrancar. Arrancar. Let's just call him that. He's got two names because he's got two balls in a little tube.
Arrancar.
Let's call him Arrancar. And he is wearing the face of Cayenne.
This was the most frustrated I've been with the flip-flop. Not all of Bleach, but it was up there. It was definitely up there with the flip-flop shit.
What do you mean flip-flop shit?
Okay, it's Arrancar. Okay, actually, it's what's his name?
Cayenne.
But actually, it's not. But actually, he's good.
He's
bad, but he's good. But I'm like,
I wasn't upset with the flip flop. I was just upset that Rukia was buying this shit. But although he ended up being again an Arrancar or an Espada. He really did have his. He did have his essence, I guess, inside of him.
There was just too many bruh moments. Like it was too many. Like it just annoyed me. It just happened one too many times of that flip flop.
Between the two of them specifically.
Yeah.
Because he talked about how Aizen was experimenting on that hollow. We saw that flashback in Soul Society when that hollow, kind of their body kind of deteriorated, or they kind of went back to Hueco Mundo. His body was still inside of it.
Yeah.
And he was able to kind of absorb it. So it's really his fighting style, his memories, all that are genuinely there.
Yes.
But you know what is not there, Mehgan? His motherfucking heart ain't there. Because his heart is in Rukia. And that was one of the most beautiful speeches
that was great.
I have read. Like, that was beautiful. And specifically the line where he says, where he talks about whenever people grow close, a heart is born between them. If your heart is here, that is reason enough for you to be here. You mustn't die alone. Leave your heart with your friends. Beautiful. Beautiful. Like, damn, am I reading manga or am I reading poetry right now?
I'm reading Chicken Soup for the Soul.
I'm reading Chicken Soup for the Soul. I really did love this. Yes, the flip-flop part was a little annoying because, I understand why Rukia was confused because her former master was genuinely in there. Yeah. It wasn't like he was just wearing his face.
No.
He was genuinely in there.
It was just the gaslighting for me. It was like, I'm going to kill you. And he's like, it was joking.
Yeah.
It was a joke. You can't take a joke anymore, Rukia. Like, I was joking. Yeah. She's like, oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I was so confused. I thought
she bought into it hard.
I thought you were serious. He goes, no, but actually I am.
But what I need you to do is kill your friend.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god.
And she was like, he would never say that. But it was all worth it to me for that heart speech. Like, that was so beautiful. And Rukia having that moment too, where she really empathized with Orihime and talked about knowing exactly how Orihime feels and being one of the only people that knows exactly what Orihime is going
with
through.
The same type of man, the same type of face.
Exactly. Like, and that, and just like being taken prisoner, all of it. Like, she really gets it. And realizing that his heart was still there with her in that moment. Again, really powerful. And all that flip-flopping and back and forth was worth it for me. Because she's also for the first time having to face her past and really deal with her past. Even in Soul Society, we're told and shown sort of what a part of her past is, but it doesn't mean she's really 100% dealt with it. She did go to his family's house again at the end, and they did forgive her, but she's having to literally face it now. And really, they have forgiven her, but has she forgiven herself? And she's really having to forgive herself right now in this moment, and know that even though that is her former master's shell, it is not the most important part of him, his heart. It is still with her. And I was like, this is beautiful. Mm-hmm. This is beautiful.
Yeah, it was a really nice moment.
Then we get Renji versus the Octava Espada, Grants, who says he's the younger brother of Ilfort Gantz, who is someone I genuinely forgot about. But Renji and him kind of go back and forth in some combination or another for the almost remainder of these entire chapters. But I did think real quick, what was really interesting too, the last thing I'll say is that Arrancar or Espada or Espada, I think he's not a former Espada she was fighting, was the only Gillian in the Espadas.
Yeah, that was cool.
And had consumed so many hollows. Like, that was just a really cool fact.
I love that too. And he's just like, don't say anything. I've heard it all before.
Yeah.
It was so funny. It was just like, I can imagine Rukia being like, just like throwing out insults after he says that.
Yeah.
No, he starts to make fun of himself. He's like, don't say it. I've heard it all before. Nuts.
Nuts.
It's like balls, the things.
Oh.
I'm talking about the guy.
Talking about when she saw his face.
Yeah. And he's like, don't say it. I've ever heard it all before. Then he starts listing things off the people that called him.
Gotcha. Yeah, they called me. They called me, Balls McGee. I don't know.
Testicle man. And she's like, okay, you don't have to keep.
Like, I wasn't even thinking that.
And he goes, he just keeps going down the line.
Yeah. He keeps going and going and going. And we would be remiss if we didn't talk about how Rukia ended up delivering the finishing blow. Like, that was some badass shit. I mean, her Zanpakuto was broken, and then she uses her Zanpakuto sort of materializes like through him. That was one of the coolest kills.
Yeah, that was sick.
That we saw.
I was so worried towards the end of that. She was like, wasn't fighting. I was like, girl, you better fight right now.
Yeah.
And then she did.
Then we kind of cut back a little bit, and Ulquiorra, we find out for the first time, I think, here now that he is the fourth Espada, and he is baiting Ichigo into fighting him.
Mm-hmm.
And Ichigo's like, I don't really have time for you, dude. I'm not really here for you. And he's like, what if I told you I was the one who took Orihime? And then Ichigo falls for it, and they kind of go back and forth for a little while. Meanwhile, Ishida shows up to help Renji, and seeing them together was a literal blast. Like,
I like seeing them together, and obviously the Chad and Ishida team up too, I believe, right?
Chad and Ishida when?
What? Ishida teamed up with someone. Who was it?
Renji.
Was it? Yeah, Renji.
That's what I'm saying.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like, that's what you just said?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said Ichigo. Sorry. Yeah,
no.
Ishida and Renji blast.
Yeah, that like.
Sorry.
They're pairing together. I mean, give me more of that. Them together are just they are so opposite each other, and I guess it's because Renji is similar to Ichigo in a lot of ways.
Yeah, for sure.
That they play so well off of each other. But then, we cut to the two little hollows that are messing with Orihime.
Oh, these bitches.
Yeah, they're just rude.
They're rude, and they're jealous of her.
And Daddy Grimjaw shows up, and he Anakin Skywalker's those kids, man. He really fucks him up.
Yeah, it was so satisfying.
It kind of was.
And because he just did it, he was like, okay, now we're even. Now I want you to do something for me. Like, straight up. He's like, I'm going to do this. And he's like, yeah, that was wild. He takes out the leg, and then Orihime is so nice, and she like heals them.
When
back.
she does heal them, though, it's when she heals them that you can see like how bad he messed them up. Like he like ripped them apart.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, I think he said because this is like I saved you for helping my arm.
And I kind of say Grimjaw, like his eyeliner,
it's on point.
It's immaculate. I don't know if that's like I don't know if he paints that on. I think that's maybe just natural. He wakes up like that every morning, but
he's blessed. He's
blessed.
He's blessed.
Mm-hmm.
You drink enough Hollow's blood or eat enough Hollow's, you'll just get like perfect. It's not perfect skin, but it is like for them, I guess it is like perfect skin because it's just kind of a part of who they are. Like I can't imagine Grimjaw wakes up and puts on that blue eyeliner. I imagine that's just there.
Maybe.
You
gotta get on that hollow nonsense.
You gotta get on that hollow diet.
Damn.
Yeah, that hollow diet. So yeah, and then again, we're cutting back and forth between this Grant's character for a very long time.
Before we get anything of like substantial, like before Mayuri comes in.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like.
Yeah, and I have to say, like, as far as like character design, again, I really like his design. I like by the end of it, I like what he has represented. Like Mehgan, you were so quick to point out. And I think so right to point out, like this idea of perfection and eternal life and all these things, these themes that he ends up like being a part of and representing, once Mayuri shows up. But up until that point, it's a lot of just like, it was a little fatigue until the very end. And it does get brought home.
No, he goes, just really quick. After we did all this little thing, I got to go change. I'll be right back.
Yeah, he really does.
Like,
yeah.
I was like, what do you mean?
Because it is, again, he is the epitome of like defeated, not defeated, defeated, not defeated, defeated, not defeated.
Yeah.
He gets defeated in this portion here. Then he eats some hollows to regain his strength. And, Ishida does something with those spirit soul cutters. He kind of sets them up in a little, which was an awesome moment.
And it was an awesome moment, like Ishida confirmed Spanish king.
Oh yeah.
Ishida said, "Well, he goes, oh, I think he said, let me say it in your language so you understand." I was like, and then he said it.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
he's confirmed.
Confirmed.
He's invited to the carne asada.
Yeah, confirmed. He's invited to all the family festivities.
Yeah,
all the parties. Yeah, Ishida's the kind of guy you want to bring to your, back home. To your, whether it's Latino, Mexican, Spanish, you want to bring him because he'll make an effort. He'll make an effort to really learn the phrases, you know.
I feel like Renji would be good too.
Renji too, but
Renji be partying.
They would just respect Renji because that fool comes in looking hard.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, damn, this was a gangster.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, Ishida's a guy who will, he's a learned man, and he will, he'll learn.
Yeah.
And he'll respect.
Next time
put some respect on it too.
Oh yeah, next time he comes around, they're like, what do you want? Like, what do you want in your taco? And he goes, con todo. And they go,
what?
Ishida.
And he's like,
what? You said it last time. I just learned last time.
Yeah, tacos con todo. And they're like, oh my God. If you ever get tired of my niece, they be saying some shit like that.
Yeah, for sure. Why are you dating her? That's usually what it is.
Yeah,
this fucking ugly girl. Why are you dating her?
Oh, damn.
And you're like, oh.
That's a little insight into your life right there, I think. That's a little curtain lifted on your life.
No.
Although the Mexican side of my family constantly would roast the shit out of me. I mean, that's
what they do.
They're the only part of my family that has ever greeted me by poking me and saying, saying, look at your panza over and over and over.
Yeah, I like the word panza. That's funny.
And it's like, damn, you don't think I'm insecure as shit about this? And
they know you are. That's why they say it.
They're like, damn, I haven't seen this fool forever. Look at that panza.
Yeah.
And they literally are just saying, look at your belly. Look at how fat you are.
Yeah.
Which is hurtful as shit. But the more they roast you, the more they love you.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And you just got to figure that out. And if you don't figure that out, again, that was kind of the thing about being a half white, half Mexican. I didn't really always have that figured out. And it took a little while to figure it out. Anyway, some dark years. So Grimjaw then orders Orihime to heal Ichigo.
Yes, heal him because I want to fight him again.
Which makes sense, though. That makes sense.
Yeah,
like that's totally in character for Grimjaw.
It is. It's very competitive. He's just like, this is for fun. I want to do this. This is why he's here. This is why I'm here. Like, this is the only kind of action I'm getting right now besides like, punking on some kids, bullying another kid. Like, I want to get some shit in because he knows Ichigo is, hey, capable. He's fun to fight. So he's like, let's go.
And this does play in a lot to what we learn his backstory to be. But we're not there yet.
Yeah.
Right before this goes down, old Kiora shows up to scold Grimjaw. And
I like this too.
They end up kind of having it out for a little bit.
Yeah, they have it out for a little bit. And I like that whole sequence when he's like, that's the price you pay. Because he finds out that Orihime's gone. And Grimjaw finds out that he was beaten on Ichigo. So he's like, damn.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you take another man's prey. And it makes sense because they're kind of like,
they're beasts.
They're beasts, yeah.
And that, I think, is why, Hueco Mundo looks like a desert, like, wasteland, Because it's just full of beasts.
Beasts.
Ain't no civilization out there until Aizen showed up.
Until Aizen gentrified
Hueco Mundo.
He did.
That's what that man did.
Dude, he did.
Bro, Aizen showed up and gentrified Hueco Mundo straight up. That's what it is. The white man comes in to Hueco Mundo, a Mexican neighborhood. Okay. We were fine before Aizen showed up.
Yeah.
But then he builds Las Noches and, shit. And he starts trying to like get everybody together.
Yeah.
And they're like, damn, dude, we were fine.
Let's have tea.
Yeah, let's have tea, bitch. Where's my Michi, fool? Yeah. Need a michelada, not some Earl Grey.
That sounds really good.
I know to you it sounds good.
Michi.
But this was a really cool interaction, and by the end of it, Grimjaw uses something called a caja de negación to seal him in a closed dimension, which is designed to seal people in a closed dimension forever. But someone as strong as Ulquiorra, only for a few hours.
Of course.
Of course. So Ichigo's like, all right, well, if you heal me, you got to heal Grimjaw too, because we got to be equal,
I liked how he picked up Orihime. Remember that?
Who?
Ichigo.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, dang.
I mean, yeah.
I like that. It was cute little bit, because he picks her up, and she's like, I'm heavy. And he's like, you're not as heavy as I thought you would be. And then Nell gets on his ass like, you can't see.
Yeah, that was a really cute moment. That's when Grimjaw, and Ichigo have their, I would say, this is kind of like a final battle for them. This has been all kind of building up, leading up to this.
Yeah.
This is the third time I think they've clashed.
Yeah. And yeah, because he's like, we're not done yet, right? He's like, we're still fighting before I think he gets healed, or I think this is when they defeat each other. I'm thinking of this line.
Okay, go ahead. Oh, you're talking about the end of their fight.
Yeah, I think
probably. Just say the line now. It's okay.
Oh, okay. He just says like, I don't know. It's just another cool line. Do you want to keep your wounds so you'll have an excuse like when you lose?
Right.
That was before he got healed, I think. I don't remember the healing.
Again, it gets a little foggy because it's all seeming to happen. Like they get defeated, they have another form, they come back.
Yeah, he goes Lizard King.
He goes
Grimjaw.
Well, he's not Lizard King. He's the Panther King.
Oh, he kind of looks like a lizard to me. Before I found out it was the panther.
I guess I can see
he's
that.
He's a little lizardy.
But he looks more cat-like, more a panther-like.
I mean,
I don't know where you got a lizard. I mean, I guess.
He looked like a lizard, like an armadillo. Like we already had an armadillo guy.
Okay.
But now I knew he was a panther. I know that because I read it. But he just kind of looked lizard-like to me.
Okay, all right.
But anyway.
Grimjaw looks lizard-like to Mehgan.
Lizard-like to me.
Reptilian.
Yeah.
But this fight, we get to see the ultimate Seto move and a lot of
Gran Racero.
A lot of cool payoff to things that have been like it's been leading up to this moment for a very long time. We get to see Grimjaw's form, this other form from Grimjaw that we haven't seen.
This other form, we get to see Grimjaw go, for the mask. And Ichigo's like, And I was like, that was pretty sick too.
Well, it's cool because this is the first time that I think Orihime gets to see Ichigo in this holification form.
And girl, I know it's a little scary, but you've seen a lot worse.
But it's triggering for her because this reminds her of her brother. So of course she's like super triggered.
Yeah. She's like, not again.
Yeah, dude. I mean, this is like crazy because the person she's in love with and the only person that was fucking there to help race her, which is why Ichigo, like another comment pointed out, is always trying to protect everybody because he thinks that they'll end up dying like his mom.
Yeah. Which is valid.
It's a lot of trauma. They got a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
And I really did think that was not a sweet moment, but a moment where you really realize why this messes with Orihime so much.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's when Grimjaw tells Ichigo that he's not really here to save anybody. He didn't really come here to rescue anybody. He came here to fight. And if he wants to, he could say he is here to rescue Orihime till the cows come home, but that man is here to fight. That's why he's, doing everything he's doing. And even Ichigo's like, damn, for a second, he's like, damn, maybe he's on to something.
Yeah.
Maybe I am here to fight.
Yeah, Ichigo's really conflicted a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Because he's like, dealing with the whole holification and trying to like hone that. And he's like, what are my real desires? Is this just a hollow speaking for me? Like, what are my real thoughts? Like, he's really going through it.
He is. And this is when we get the Grimjaw backstory moment, which I really like because again, so, Grimjaw is not only in constant fear. I mean, of not being taken seriously. I mean, he wants to prove himself. He's maybe got even a little bit of a what do they call it? A little bit of a Napoleon complex. A little bit.
Napoleon
complex.
Yeah. Napoleon complex.
You ever heard of that?
Isn't it inferiority? Is it the same thing?
Yeah, kind of like same thing. Like where short kings. Short kings, they might act a little more brazen because they're, trying to prove that they're not like, that their height doesn't mean that they're like, not as strong as.
Or it's like a big guy getting a big truck because he's trying to compensate.
A big guy getting a big truck. He's trying to compensate for having like a tiny penis. Okay. Yeah. But this is a little different. Because, Grimjaw, when he was a Jucha, it's a hard word to say. He was small.
He was a small little guy.
And everybody else was, these are Gillians and Hollows, so many Hollows, which is again, kind of freaked me out when I really started thinking about it. Like, let's say like your soul, you die and you become a Hollow, right? And then let's say, even if your Hollow, the Hollow version of you, it eats other Hollows or is eaten by other Hollows, like it's just a bunch of souls, a bunch of people. Your soul, you're a piece, your identity, everything that you are and everything that you were are a part of this thing now, this thing that is no longer you, but has you in there somewhere, but also nowhere. And it is kind of like, it really did kind of freak me out a little bit when I really started to think about it. And then you become a Gillian, and a Gillian, sometimes one personality might dominate that Gillian, but is that personality that dominates, is it the personality of a person who was turned into a hollow, or is it this new personality that was birthed from the hollow and its consumption of other hollows? You know, I'm going down this rabbit hole, dude. I'm freaking out. I'm having a little bit of existential crisis. But anyway, you know, he hits his second form and becomes like this like panther type of creature. And again, all of the other Ajuchas are
like
bigger.
kombucha.
Oh, like kombucha. Are bigger and scarier than he is.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's constantly having to prove himself. Number one, he's constantly having to prove himself and prove that he's not weak and prove that he's strong. And number two, he is constantly having to consume, or else he will
fall behind,
get reverted back to a Gillian and lose all of his identity. Will have no
lose the progress
of ever and never be able to return to that.
Yeah,
losing himself completely, which is terrifying.
So like dying again.
Yeah, like dying again, and yeah, then becoming like crowned king by these other Ajuchas is where maybe some of his entitlement or you know his drive or whatever kind of comes from.
Yeah,
and so this was like really cool to see, and I'm a sucker for seeing how like things were long ago, no matter how long ago before you know Eisen showed up. Like,
and I like seeing a kind of like a what's the word? Oh gosh, when something turns into something else over time. Evolution. An evolution of a type of like either like character or like a being, and that's different from what happened with Nell because she was always that. She just kind of reverted.
Right.
It's not reverting, it's progression of like being something and then growing your strength into more of like a being, I guess, not like a person, but just like how much they had to go through to get to this point.
Because they were trying to be Vasto Lords, which is the next stage, but a lot of them couldn't be. And
this is like before Eisen. This was even before the picture.
And
so.
yeah, there's something about this is like, you know, it's like, this is so silly, but you know, it's like, you know, we're back in like dinosaur times. You know what I'm saying? And we're, you know, we're back in like the prehistoric ages, and we're getting to see how things evolved, and it is fascinating, and I'm a sucker for that kind of backstory because this is when we're seeing a character when he was something completely different, but he was still.
And there was a different type of hierarchy. There was a different type of like the hierarchy was already there before Eisen was even in the mix. Like he was trying to like fight for his right to live before he was even there. So yeah, it is that like superiority thing of like, well, I was here first. Like I had to work my way up. Like I am gonna like not gonna back down now. Like there's no way.
Yeah. Ultimately, Ichigo is able to defeat Gripjaw. There was a cool line from Orihime where she was like, "Don't die," and Nell was like, "You gotta get that brother shit out of your head.
Yeah.
You gotta like root for him. Like you gotta."
She's
cheer
like,
him
"If
on.
you won't cheer him on, who will?" And I was like, "You, Nell too."
Well, I mean, Nell too. Nell too is her name, and Nell also.
I'm just kidding. I was just She
but
goes to class.
She's like, "You can't don't die.
Don't give up." And he's like, "Well, you heard the lady. I can't give up just yet." You know, it's like,
hell
well,
yeah.
I can't die just yet.
Hell
I have an obligation.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Cause dude, I mean, his heart is with his friends.
Yeah.
But that's when Noitora the Fifth shows up, and Orihime is taken by Tesla, who is another Arrancar or Espada, or the Arrancar have like their little minions too. I don't know. I think he's an Arrancar for sure. I don't know if he's an Espada or not. Either way, gets taken by.
They
by
must
him.
like the next guy that comes in. Like I feel like everyone just like really likes strawberries.
Why do you say that?
Because everyone wants a taste of Ichigo.
Oh, I see.
That was a really good setup. You didn't even see that coming, and I was expecting to have like
you
more.
know what's the sinister, I guess, the sad truth is I hoped it wasn't that. I hoped it was going to go in a different direction. That's so I was like why? Because in my mind I was like it can't be just that, but then it was just that. What But it was good though, and everybody at home is laughing. I'm just kidding. I'm joking. I'm joking. Anyway, these Bleach episodes are always fun. And I hope you know I was joking, Mehgan. Please. This is when we cut back to Renji and Ishida versus. Okay, stop mad dogging me, dude. It was a joke. I thought you said the Latino side of your family used to rip you to shreds. So you should feel right at home. Damn.
Fuck. Shit.
Hola, casita. Renji and Ishida versus the clones. They find out that they
sending the clones.
Can clone them and all their abilities. And then we cut away from them for a little while too, and back to Nell. And Nell's identity being revealed, and she transforms into her true form, the previous third Espada. Pretty awesome reveal. Nell is one of the coolest characters in Bleach. Her design, and let's just not get nasty, and let's just not just say it's because of you know what or whatever.
No, she's awesome. Her hair, I love her little skull mask. I like her little what do they call it? Sigma? They call it.
Oh yeah,
I forget what they call it. Like her little
mark right there.
Little mark. It looks like a little blushy. Like it's super cute. I love her green hair. Her outfit's sick. Yeah.
And we get a little backstory on her. I don't know if we get a little later because we cut back to Renji for a second. Renji has a Bankai plan, where he's like, if I do the Bankai, all the clones will do the Bankai, we'll break out of this dome.
Which was sick. I mean, this fool has no gag reflex either. He pulled that sword. Oh, he put that sword right in him.
The Grants guy.
Yeah. I was like,
he's a performer. He is. Cirque du Soleil. And Cirque du Soleil. And he has. I
don't know if they do that at Cirque du Soleil.
They probably for sure do.
Balling swords.
Yeah, they probably for sure do. And he has some voodoo dolls and stuff too.
Yeah,
We'll get back to that. He's got little beans in there and he's crushing organs and stuff, but we'll get back to that.
Yeah.
We get a little backstory of Nell and Naitora. I hope I'm saying his name right. And we just get to see how she lost her memory and how she reverted or, degressed or, became a child.
And this fool's not just evil. He's also one of the worst evils in the world. He's sexist.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, he just is.
He just is, straight up. That's all he says. He goes, yeah, I hate her, but like, why? Like, because I don't want a girl winning me in battle.
And
that was the root.
Yeah.
That's where it grew.
Particular Espada, like his ultimate, because we don't really find out why he is the way he is really until the Kenny fight.
Yes.
But at this point, we just see him as some kind of ruthless guy who's a sexist motherfucker who just can't take that anybody is stronger than him.
It's true.
Especially if they're a woman and wants to. And you think in Hueco Mundo they'd be past that shit. Isn't that a bummer, dude?
And we also got to see a little taste of like the female Arrancar espadas. Yeah, I don't know if they were espadas.
And we messed up. I guess Lupi was a guy. And, sorry about that. But damn, Lupi, you fine. Guy,
Lupi is fine.
Gal, whatever. Damn, Lupi. That's
making me loopy.
You're making me loopy.
Yeah, I like the other designs of the female Arrancars too.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Cool.
Hell yeah. And we get to see that he just, he got pretty pissed off and fed up one day, and he didn't like how she would kind of treat her, and she didn't have a real reason to kill him, and we find out a lot more about why in the Kenny fight, and
he's just like a pest. I mean, he's always like, let's fight. She's like, I have no reason to fight you, dude. Like, just leave me alone.
Yeah.
Just the constant harassment in the workplace.
Workplace harassment.
Negging.
Yeah, negging.
100%.
Report him to HR.
Please.
And, HR's got to be, Geen or Jin or, or Tosin.
Oh, God, that's a horrible HR.
Hopefully Tosin is
Tosin is HR. But I feel like he'd be like, I don't care. Justice is justice. And he wouldn't. I mean,
justice, he can't be just saying that about justice. That ain't
what
justice.
What does he do, though?
Sexual harassment ain't justice.
No, I mean, like, he says that he's for justice, but then he's like, actually, justice is
purpose.
Yeah, he doesn't give an exact example. He doesn't do shit.
Yeah, he's like, if you do something and have a good reason for doing it, then it's justice.
Exactly. So, like, what?
Yeah. I can see.
He would take this side and be like, and she'd be like, okay, then this was like pointless.
Yeah, I could see that.
But yeah, Gin cannot be HR.
Hopefully not.
Or maybe he would be. He'd be like, actually.
And maybe he'd be good at his job.
I don't know. But yeah, this is to the point where he's getting beat. He's getting beat by Nell finally.
Yeah, I mean,
finally.
And we get to see, her abilities too, and we get to see that she's got, her Sero, and she's able to like absorb them, and it's called like the double Sero or double back Sero or whatever, and she's able to spit it back at them. But we also learn here in this moment, the pickleback, okay, that the other hollow, members of her little hollow family that she was running around with, they also reveal themselves to be, who they truly are.
Yeah, they're like, we were just holding back because we didn't want to trigger her into battle, but now we don't have to hold back anymore. Let's go.
And let's use our fusion Sero. And they use their fusion Sero, and you think, okay, well, now Grants is for sure done, and he's not done. Mm-hmm. And he's like, you used your fusion Sero too late. I already knew who you were, and I've been knowing who you are.
Damn it.
And you're just like, God damn. These guys can't catch a fucking break. But then we get to see Nell's Capricorn Knight transformation.
She's a freaking centaur. I saw a cosplay of this.
Sick as fuck.
At Anime Expo, like years ago.
They win.
I saw a picture. I wasn't there, but I was like, dang, like straight horse body.
They win. They win Anime Expo that year. I don't care. I hope
was
they
awesome.
entered the competition, and I hope they won. If they didn't, that's not justice. That's sick. Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'll show you after.
Yeah. At a certain point, Nell ends up, and Nell is very powerful, but
she, of course,
well, she does. She ends up reverting back to her child
She
form.
reverts back, yeah.
And the logic here, I don't mind the logic, which is, and again, I keep forgetting his name, Naitora, I hope, the smiley guy. He ends up saying that, she was third a long time ago.
Yeah.
People have gotten a lot stronger.
Yeah. He's like, you've been gone for, same thing with Yorichi.
Oh yeah, Yorichi, same thing.
You've been gone for so long, you haven't been doing shit.
But she does revert back to a child, and that's when Kenpachi shows up to save the motherfucking day.
Finally reinforcements, damn.
But we don't get to see the Kenpachi fight yet. We cut to everybody showing up, which means that we get a little Byakuya reveal. And Byakuya fights, I forget this guy's name. I'm going to look it up just to be safe.
You know what I also really liked was, Ishida got like fudged up.
Ishida?
Yeah, by the voodoo master.
Oh, yeah, go off.
And I was like, voodoo doll? More like Uryu doll.
Oh,
am I right?
Oh, now we're talking. See, now we're talking.
Yeah, he gets messed up. And I like that little joke where he's like, he's like, oh, you have a gutless reaction, or you're like a gutless guy. And he's like, is that a joke on my condition right now? And I like chuckled. That was pretty funny.
That was really funny.
Yeah, that was really good.
So his name is Zomari, who Byakuya ends up fighting. But yeah, dude, that was hilarious. I'm like, this guy, he's comedic gold, dude. I need to see him. Him and Kon need to be together.
Yeah, Pesci's hilarious. Yeah. All of them, those three.
Yeah. Byakuya is fighting Zomari, and their fight is really cool. But it was a fight that I think amongst all the other fights got a little lost for me personally. I think it was really cool to see him, Byakuya, step up and basically, sort of. Yes, he's there on orders of Soul Society, but when he sees this guy messing with Rukia,
it's over for him.
It's over.
I just like how classy he is. He goes, you're outclassed. You may think you have the upper hand on me, but you don't.
Yeah.
I'm 10 steps ahead of you every time. And, you messed up. What does he say? You messed up when you aimed a blade at my pride. I was like, woo!
And this is again to show, where Byakuya is now compared to Soul Society. He's in a completely different place, dude. He's a completely different person almost.
Literally.
Than he was in Soul Society. And he's grown a lot, and again, he has accepted himself, his feelings, who he is, like, and is open and honest about his feelings and not just like keeping them secret. So again, there's a lot of really cool parallels and mirrors being held up here, and I love getting to see Byakuya be, more open.
Yeah.
But I'm saying in terms of some other fights, this was a very cool fight, but not my favorite. My favorite is Mayuri versus Grants.
So funny. I mean, reading this before even Mayuri showed up, I was getting major Mayuri vibes from this fool.
Oh yeah.
So to get it just like a mirror to that was pretty cool.
Now, I didn't even, I want to know, because at the time, I didn't expect this guy to show up. Did you think he was going to be one of the captains? Would you have ever guessed that he would have been one of the captains to show up?
No, never.
Yeah.
I didn't think he would I mean, obviously it makes sense, the incentive of being able to take one of these things back with him. You know, like you said, he's like, what's your name? I just want to know so I can put it on the jar that you're going in after I get you. Like, obviously for like scientific purposes, he would want to go and like, you know, be able to get some information, you know, get someone for his new drug to test on or whatever. So that was cool, and that did make a lot of sense, and I did like this team up, definitely a highlight. And then just going back and forth as like scientists, and this guy really thinking that he's just like the shit. And Mayuri's like, yeah, but you're not, you know, like I'm way more ruthless than you, dude, you know?
Well, yeah. And like you said in the beginning of this episode, the whole speech about perfection. Yeah. I mean, Mayuri is a guy, and don't get me wrong, even at the time, you know, he is a pretty fucked up guy.
Oh, yeah.
So to be kind of rooting for him in this situation, in this moment, because you know what he's capable of, is kind of a crazy thing.
It's
and a feat in itself. But you really are kind of rooting for him to really show this guy, and you're finally, it's a weird feeling to finally be happy about this guy always having these like drugs and antidotes to drugs and things up his sleeve, because you've seen so much of this Grants guy that you just want him to be gone.
You want him to be done, yeah.
But his whole, Mayuri's whole speech about perfection, man, it was absolutely just unexpected, I think. And again, it, you know, in terms of like, I don't know. I mean, I have to believe that like, in order to progress scientifically, I'm no scientist, okay? I know a lot of people thought, man, I thought you were. I'm not. I'm not. You laughed a little too hard at that. But I mean, I this is just like, I think a curious mind has to kind of think this way. And as someone who, you know, might have like, you know, some OCD, some obsession sometimes, you know, with kind of like things being a certain way or whatever. For example, like a collector's mind, you know, sometimes you want things to be as perfect as they can be or whatever. But just to hear this like speech about perfection and how perfection is despair because it leaves no room for improvement. And in terms of just like motivation in life and like, you know, this kind of touched me on a real life level outside of like science and, you know, all that stuff, the arithmetic.
All that jargon.
Put me in a jargon. Put me in a jar.
Put me in a jargon.
But because, good. You know, so many times, you know, even, you know, when we make shit, when we do shit, we strive for perfection, but perfection leaves no room for improvement. It's about failing fast and failing forward. And, you know, you can see at least out of perfection, innovation. And it's just, it was a really powerful, I was like, damn, Mayuri's got to be the one to deliver the most powerful speech this entire arc out of these entire, what was it? 60 something chapters?
Like, Rukia.
Damn.
Yeah.
And the heart thing, but Rukia, yeah, sure. But Mayuri, damn.
Never would have seen that coming.
Never would have saw that.
I thought
coming.
he would have just been like a background, you know, guy that like you always kind of hated because he didn't really do anything else in the series. But he had a really great moment. I was very surprised.
Yeah, me too. You know, they go back and forth, poisons, whatnot. He took out his organs, whatnot, antidotes, you know, whatnot. And eventually, you know, he hits him with this drug that slows down time. This shit was also like, yes, give me more of this.
1 second equals 100 years. I was like, he's done.
And just
that sounds awful. It sounds like torture. And at one point, he's like, kill me, please kill me. He's like, face all like, you know, he looks like he's aged, but he hasn't aged a minute. Like, good God. And then he just breaks it off. I was like this man, I like you hate to say it, but you're like, damn, I just want to see more of this man fight all the time. Yeah. And, you know, even his, like, I forget her name, but she goes, like, I'm a useless hostage. Like, don't take me. And,
and you know she is. We know she is as readers.
Yeah. And I didn't expect him to already think of that far ahead. Because we get some, like, alien shit where he goes into, like, a belly button and plants eggs and, like, insane shit. But...
This is where the sus thing happens too. And I don't want to like, you know, breeze past that. Like that is probably that drug that slows down time, the sensation, like he says.
That's
about,
one of the sickest parts I think I've seen in Bleach. Far.
Period. In Bleach. Period. I agree. Like
ever?
Like, well, up until this point, I'll just say to be safe. But yeah, I agree 100%. One of the coolest things in Bleach that we've seen so far.
Yeah, it was so awesome. The whole speech, she's just like, and I wonder if you're even hearing me right now. I wonder how long it's going to take for my words to get to you. I was like,
yeah,
true. The feeling of hopelessness,
true villain shit.
Yeah.
But this is, you know, where, you know, after the aftermath of the battle, whatever, you know, and I forget the girl who's with them. Pardon me, I forget her name too. But she needs healing. And so Mayuri does something off panel. You just see little hearts, and you see little like word bubbles with hearts in it, and you hear little sound effects or whatever. And you see
very suggestive sound effects.
Very suggestive. And you hear everybody, Ishida and Renji, like
they're watching.
What are you doing?
They're
like,
blushing.
You're blushing.
They're sweating.
So what do you think? The big question I have is, what do you think was happening, Mehgan? I think it was maybe some smooching or some, like, I don't know, dude. Leaving it up to the imagination is dangerous, dude.
And if it was just smooching, I mean, why would they? I mean, they probably would react like that, but.
Because maybe he's getting his, like,
she has
saliva, all over her or something,
Maybe she's got, like, a switch somewhere,
Like a Chobits situation. Which would be absolutely horrifying.
Chobits, they really
had to do it.
They really had to do that.
They thought they had to do it.
That was.
It was insane, but that's what we want to see comments of.
Yeah.
That's what we want to see your comments about. Basically, leave a comment down below saying what happened. And if you don't know, go back. You can look it up, I'm sure. But it's at the end of their battle, Mayuri's battle with Grant's, and he's having to heal.
Sexual healing.
His assistant, I guess. I forget her name. I'm so sorry. But leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think. What's going on.
Kubo, feel free to comment.
And Kubo, feel free to answer that question.
You're watching this.
Then we cut back to and we're almost kind of done. We do have a little bit left to get through, but we're getting towards the end. Then we get the Kenny versus Noitora fight, and that's where we find out more about this man's psyche. Kenny, it's always cool to see Kenny fight, but I know you particularly like this, so I'll let you kind of go off because I know you said you had a lot of fun seeing Kenny fight.
I did. He's fun. I mean, he just likes to fight. That's his whole thing, and I liked seeing him, this Nini Tora go after what's her name, Midichi, the little one.
Nell?
No, original little one, pink hair.
Oh, right. Damn, there's so many characters. I forget.
I think it's
it's Kenny's. The little girl that's always with Kenny. Sorry, guys. There's so many characters.
Something with she.
Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
Anyway, I liked how he went after her, and she was like, "Don't." Kenny gets mad when you go after me. Don't go after me. And he's like, "I didn't get mad," but he did get mad. And just seeing Kenny really give him a run for his money.
Yachidu.
Yeah, Yachidu. I see.
What'd you say?
I was right. I said it was Yachidu.
I'm gonna have to look back. Maybe you
I'm
did.
gonna have to look back.
I'm gonna have to
look back.
I'm gonna have to be like Fujimoto and look back. That was good.
Yeah, my strawberry joke wasn't.
I didn't say it wasn't good. I said it was a little predictable.
I just hope that it wasn't that. I really hope that it wasn't that.
That really affected you.
I really hope that you didn't do that. That's why I set you up.
You're really.
I was insane.
Because you came out of the gate so hot, like bet you didn't think I was gonna say that. Like you came out so hot, I was like, that was good. I was gonna let it go. But then you were saying you that was a good setup too, because you had no idea where I was going. Like you came out so
because
hot.
I was expecting to have to grab it from you like I usually do.
Grab it from me like I usually grab food out of the refrigerator, off the aisles of the grocery store, out of the hands of the fast food workers.
Give me that.
You're out of your damn mind today. But
I like the bit where he's like, he has 4 arms.
That part was fucking so. I'm sorry.
He has 6 arms.
That was so annoying. I'm sorry. That was peak.
He's
annoyance.
a spider guy.
And he was like, "Oh, you don't like 2 arms? What about 4? You
don't
like 4 arms? What about 6?
Let's go. Keep the arms coming."
And I was like, I wish I had more hands so I can flip you off more.
Whoa.
Damn. Fool's name. Tori, whatever.
Nini Tori. He's a real ninny, isn't it?
I think it's Noitora. Noitora. Anyway, what we do learn about him is that he almost seems to have this he has accepted death, right? But also kind of I don't know. He has a weird relationship, I think, with death. And he wants to, again, like he
wants to die in battle.
He wants to die in battle because everybody's going to die sometime anyway.
He doesn't want to die of anything else but like fighting. Like Kenny kind of.
And that to him, that's the only reason that like anybody does anything, right?
To fight.
Is to fight. And I get it and I understand it, but and I liked that we got that, and I liked that we got to see that from him, and I liked that he was paired with Kenny. It was him and Kenpachi were like the perfect pair. And he really did get what he wanted, which was kind of sad in the end. And I liked this fight a lot. But again, like coming off that Mayuri fight, I was like, damn, dude.
I know.
I mean, again, this was an awesome fight, and I loved what we got from this character. It was a little unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
But again, on top of the arm shit that just kept happening, it kind of like underwhelmed or like undercut that moment a little bit. Like that was a really cool moment at the end of his fight with Kenpachi, but the whole arm thing was like, damn, dude.
Yeah, and then him like, coming full circle and saying like Nell,
right.
Nell there.
Yeah.
And maybe he did like, have a fascination with her, wanted to like, because he just found a worthy opponent or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think for him, that was the last nail in the coffin. And now we're back.
That was really,
you liked it?
Really good.
You really liked it? Thank you, Mehgan.
What the Nell?
Oh, that was good. And we're back. But this was a really cool fight as well, and a really cool moment. Like I said, I didn't expect to see all that from. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing his name, but I didn't expect to see all that from Noitora. Nanoi Tora. Nanoi.
The
Noid. This is when another Espada shows up and takes back Orihime.
Sorry, guys, I gotta take this real quick.
And Aizen is on his way to Karakura to create the Oken, and he sends a message to everybody in Hueco Mundo saying that this was all a part of his plan entire time. He said, I didn't take Orihime because I wanted to use her power.
You think I'm dumb? You think I'm stupid?
No, I'm Aizen.
I'm Mama.
I'm Mama Aizen. Yeah, but basically that he took her because he knew that Soul Society valued her power and was afraid of what he might do with it. So he took her so that just like he planned, certain captains and Ichigo and them would go there to save her. They could lock the gates, trap them there, and after having 3 captains, sort of what's the word, defect, and after having however many captains there trapped on top of Ichigo, Chad, and Ishida and all them,
the defenders of that realm, or stand-ins.
Yeah, there's not their ranks are like halved, basically.
Yeah.
It's kind of a brilliant plan. It was kind of
Aizen's, he's got it locked down. I mean, that's one thing you can't talk shit about Mama Aizen. Like, Mama Aizen is like 10 steps ahead of you. Mama Aizen like knows your plan. He knows his plan, and he's gonna see it through.
This was actually a really smart plan, and I was like, something again I was a little foggy on, but I was like, damn, Aizen, okay.
You have to respect the game.
I do.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Exactly. And this is when we find out that everybody's really worried. Everybody's really worried. Yeah, and Soul Society, this is, they knew, right? They were kind of expecting this to an extent, but to a large enough extent that they ended up like building a replica of Karakura.
A large enough extent where...
No, an exact scale replica of Karakura. Then they teleported the whole city of Karakura to Soul Society, all right, and then replaced it with the fake one. And so the captains and everybody is going to fight in a fake Karakura, and meanwhile, everybody else is in Soul Society, but they're all passed out anyway.
They're done.
They're done. This, honestly, to me, I didn't really enjoy this explanation like this. Like, to me, it's just a means to an end for the captains to be able to fight. I like that there was thought put into it. Like, someone commented, well, like, if the captains are going to be fighting the Espadas at full power, they're going to level the city. First of all, I would think they would level way more than just, I mean, you would have to create a scale replica of Japan. I would think, as powerful as these motherfuckers are. And you would have to transport that to Soul Society. But it just seemed like a means to an end for them to be able to battle in the city. But
Not in the city.
But not in the city. And now we don't have the stakes of like the civilians being injured, or we don't have the stakes of like, and again,
because it's just like a playground now.
It's just a playground. It's just a set. It's just a set. It's a movie set that they're on now. And so I
there's
appreciate
no real stakes.
the explanation.
It is just like,
but this was probably like one of the bigger, like, again, nitpick. It's not like I'm like, this ruined it for me. It absolutely didn't ruin it for me. But it was something that I was like, okay. It didn't ruin it for me, but it was just a little.
Yeah.
It seemed a little easy.
They were going there. I mean, they were all preparing for this fight, to happen in, what is it, Karakura? Karakura. They were all preparing for this fight to happen in the actual Karakura. If it happened in Karakura, they were like totally fucked. Yeah. And that's why the stakes were so high. That's why if they were to fight in Karakura, like there would be a lot of stakes. Like, it would have been it would have been like a better situation if like, Orihime was able to like freaking gather her powers and like revert everything back to the way it was. Like if she did that like real crazy power up moment, like that would have been sick, healed everyone in the process. Everyone was like, what happened? Like I much would have rather have that than to have it not happen at all.
Yeah. And I'm, there,
but yeah,
again, my memory of things to come again, get only foggier and foggier. So there might be an even better reason because again, they're doing this to prevent Aizen from making the Oken too. And so Aizen's going to have to, now he can't use the souls and Karakura to make the Oken. He has to go to Soul Society to do that. So they have effectively like made that harder for him to do, which again, but sometimes, you need those little extra stakes, but again, it doesn't ruin anything for me. I couldn't help but feel like if I'm being 100% honest, don't come at me. But in the moment, I was like, that's a little convenient. That's a little, And it just seems like an exact scale replica of this city, and then you swapped it out in, again, not a deal breaker, but just something I don't know. I just had a moment where I had to just kind of accept it.
Yeah, for real.
It took me a moment to accept it, I guess. But the rest of the captains that are left and assistant captains are there to meet them. There's going to be a huge battle about to take place. And we cut back to Aizen, who, again, trapped everybody in Hueco Mundo. And he has told Ulquiorra that Las Noches is in his hands. And Ichigo is like, I got to protect, Kenpachi, you are right. I'm here to protect my friends. I have to go protect my friends. And you just see like him and Ulquiorra. Now we know we're going to get a big battle between another like more fair, more epic battle between the two of them. And, even Ulquiorra like is kind of like wanting it. And that is where these two arcs end. Wow. Powerful stuff.
Dang.
Powerful stuff. Now, coming up next, I accidentally read a couple chapters ahead.
You did.
And I couldn't stop because coming up next, we finally get into some lore. We finally get into the past. I am so over the moon about the next episode and everything that we're going to get to cover there. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that because there's going to be a lot to unpack there. And I'm extremely excited not only to talk about it, but to see, Mehgan's reaction to it, to see your reaction to it, and to see, you experience it and talk about it with you as well. But that's going to do it for the Arrancar, the Fierce Fight Arc, and the Arrancar versus Shinigami Arc. Mehgan, what are some of your final thoughts? I know we said a lot in the beginning, but if you have anything short and sweet at the very end that you'd like to say.
Again, I mean, I'm really enjoying what we're reading. After Josh was like, hyping up like the next couple parts, I just read like maybe a page and a half, and I was like really excited just off of who I saw and what is to be revealed. So I'm super excited for that. I feel like every week we read it. This was a lot of fighting, yes, but it wasn't like I wasn't enjoying it at all. I've gone to the point now where I'm like invested in what these characters are going to do, invested in, how they're going to grow as characters, how they're going to beat, the big bad Aizen, like what's going to happen. So, overall, I have fun reading this every week and like what's to come. I say that like every time we record, but it is just something that I think about. And Hueco Mundo I did enjoy. I don't know if I would say I liked it more than Soul Society. Maybe some parts like exchangeable, like I like this part more than this and this part more than this, but I did really enjoy seeing like the Nell and seeing what she's all about and how she'll be a good ally during this time.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it too. Going back again, like if you were an anime watcher at the time, the Bound arc took forever. A lot of people dropped Bleach around that time. I converted to the manga around that time. And again, things were foggy. So revisiting it, I really, always felt like I really couldn't weigh in too much on the Hueco Mundo versus Soul Society debate because it wasn't super fresh in my memory. Now that it is a little more fresh, I really do enjoy it. I think the biggest problem that comes from Hueco Mundo and why it keeps getting compared to Soul Society and why people find that to be such a problem is just because of how recent and how close and how back-to-back they are. Like Mehgan said, like no story is perfect. We are currently going through One Piece at the same time, and we're both really enjoying reading One Piece as well. But in terms of something like a Dressrosa arc being compared to an Alabasta arc, or I've seen in other people's videos calling an Arlong Park and a Fishman Island arc comparable or the same thing, I don't think it's quite a fair comparison, just because there was so much time in between those arcs and so many other things that were happening. And, I think that, the biggest problem is just that, you get this small pocket of meeting the Vizards and some other, things, and then you're kind of back into a situation that feels very similar, purposeful or not, which it is extremely purposeful. But despite that, it just happening so soon after Soul Society, I think is why it constantly gets compared. But Hueco Mundo on reread was actually extremely enjoyable. And again, I there might have been parts of it that I liked a little bit more and maybe even ultimately enjoyed more than Soul Society. But I wouldn't have liked it without Soul Society. So you got to give respect where respect is due. And Soul Society will always be just, one of the go-to Bleach arcs. I can't say that there weren't a few times where I was a little fatigued by the fighting, but the overall experience, I enjoyed. Yeah, I enjoyed, but I am more excited, like 20 times more excited to talk about and to read even farther into what's coming up next. So you're not going to want to miss that. But that is going to do it for another Done Kai episode. We are not done yet. Before we go, we have to shout out and we have to thank our wonderful, our beautiful, our amazing Patreon and our YouTube members.
Yay!
Thank you so much from the bottom of our heart for your support. Your support means the absolute world to us. Without you, this show is not possible. We are at a time right now where your support is instrumental in doing what we do. We are leaning on our community and leaning on you for your help and for your support, and the fact that you are there to support us of your own free will allows us to do things that we literally would not be able to do without you. We like to have a lot of fun and we like to be silly, but seriously, from the bottom of our hearts, like this show wouldn't be what it is, and we wouldn't be able to cover Bleach to the extent that we're covering it, and to go as deep as we are into some other series and do as many of the streams that we do. Like without your support, like it just wouldn't be possible. The time that it takes to do all those things and to do other things just wouldn't be possible. This show is what it is, and we're able to cover the things that we cover it, the way we cover it, how we cover it, with the equipment that we use. All of it is because of you and your support. It means the world to us, and we will never, ever, ever, be those YouTubers that get jaded or take that for granted, because we appreciate it and always, always will. It means the absolute world to us. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. If you're not a Patreon member or a YouTube member and you would like to become one, all you got to do to become a Patreon member is go to patreon.com/volume1pod, and to become a YouTube member, all you got to do is click join on this video. I would suggest also popping into our Wednesday community lives, because as we saw in the community live that we did actually prior to recording this episode, this episode will be banked, so it'll come out a little bit later. But we saw that there were, pillars of our community, like just gifting memberships to people. So there were over 70 people who got gifted.
Wild.
Absolutely insane. Who got gifted memberships, which means early access to all of our content and access to our exclusive bonus YouTube member and Patreon exclusive podcast, Volume 1 Extra, where we talk about everything. We talk about movies. We talk about TV show outside of anime and manga. And we also talk about other anime and manga things as well. We talk about anything and everything behind the scenes, our lives, everything in that. If you become a YouTube member too, you get early access. You get custom emotes. If you become a Patreon member at a certain tier, you even get some exclusive perks, like a free, volume 1, Jolly Roger sticker. There's just all kinds of perks that you can get at each different location. One of the other things that you'll get is all the things that we just mentioned in terms of like early access and access to that other podcast. You get on our lowest tier at both places, but they're a little different in price. YouTube memberships are like a couple dollars more expensive. I think $5 compared to Patreon, which is $3, because I think the YouTube cut is a little bit more. So it evens out. So choose, which sounds best to you if you would like to support on one or both of those places. But just know it really means the world to us. And again, Patreon member, you can go to patreon.com/volume1pod, or to become a YouTube member, click join on this video. But if you're not at a place where you can donate financially, or you just flat out don't want to, please do not feel bad, because there are plenty of other ways you can show your support that mean literally and genuinely just as much to us that you can do for absolutely free, that Mehgan will tell you all about right now.
Yeah, if you don't have any money to spare, don't worry. We've all been there. I'm still there currently all the time, so don't even worry. All you have to do is comment on any one of our videos, like, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff that people tell you to do all the time, and it genuinely does help us out so much for free. All you have to do is do those things. You can become part of the algorithm gang, and it does help us spread our videos far and wide throughout the YouTube sphere and feeds the algorithm really good stuff, and it helps us reach people that we wouldn't have reached without your guys' help doing that. And you can comment anything you want, comment an emoji, algorithm gang, and you will become gang affiliated with Volume 1, and we will see your support. And, we love it. Regardless if you can send us money or, donate to the cause, it doesn't matter. You can do things for free, and it does help us out.
Yeah, any and all ways you can show your support. Not just supporting financially, but any and all ways. And like Mehgan was saying, like, watching all the way to the very end, like especially for a long form video like this, view duration like really helps. Again, sharing these videos with other Bleach fans, like people who love Bleach, like really helps a lot. If you're listening on audio, leaving us a review if you can, like those things mean just as much and matter just as much. So don't, please never feel bad about not being able to donate or support financially. Please never feel bad about that. Just show some support in other ways if you can. They're free. They're free. Come on.
Even if it's once.
Yeah, even if it's once. But that is going to do it for another Dunkai episode.
Woo!
We're getting closer and closer and closer to the 1,000-Year Blood War arc and that anime coming out. The only thing left to do now, though, is to get out here on our outro that is always the same and never changes, which today, Mehgan, is...
Show me your Bankai, fool.
Not bad.
Show me your Bankai, Nino.
Show me your Bankai, Nino. It's pretty good.
Give me that chocolate sweetness.
Something about chocolate sweetness.
Sweetness.
I like. So we could say
leave your chocolate sweetness here.
Leave your chocolate sweetness here. I like that.
Okay.
I like it. Leave your chocolate sweetness here.
Yeah.
All right. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And until next time,
leave your chocolate sweetness here.
Leave it here.
Leave it here.
Leave that sweet ass here.
Ooh.
Leave that sweet ass here. Give me some of that sugar.
Oh, God.
Sorry, it went a different direction than I did before, too.
Yeah, for real.